pulling the emotions of survival out of the body with the pineal gland breath. Let me introduce the information in this podcast is based on the teaching practice and theory of Dr. Joe Dispenza. First, an introduction and relevant information about systems and effects in the body. Later, transition to the pineal gland breath. You have a sacrum bone. It's the base of your upper body and the base of your spine. It's an upside down triangle, and on it is a plateau. And on this sits the spinal column, which goes right up into the skull. And inside that holy bone protection is the most effective system in the body, the central nervous system, which is built of your brain. Everybody has a brain. And your spinal cord, it's just the extension of the brain. And nature protected the wires in it, where the information can travel through different organs and systems in the body. And in this closed system, nature provides a fluid that bases the nervous system. And that fluid is called cerebrospinal fluid or supraspinal fluid. So when you breathe in, the skull bone system opens up and the sacrum on your spinal column flexes back. Now that fluid moves down. And when you exhale, the skull bone system closes, the sacrum bone flexes forward, it initiates a wave and pushes the fluid up. So the breathing, inhaling and exhaling, moves the supraspinal fluid, but it moves really slowly. So if you follow one molecule of the supraspinal fluid, and it will take about 12 hours to go up through the brain, all the ventricles and aqueducts, and turn around and come all the way back down. So you flush your brain only twice a day. And the supraspinal fluid has a very protective role and prevents the skull and the column for trauma, and it's transporting nutrients and neurotransmitters to different parts of the nervous system. It enhances electrical charges in the nervous system. So it's really important. And this fluid is made of proteins and salts and solution. And if you take proteins and salt and put them into a solution, they get charged. They called ions. So now when you lift up your perineum, the pelvic floor muscles between the genitals, it's the same muscles you use, for example, for elimination, and pull your belly button to your spine, lock your core like someone strikes you in the abdomen, and you squeeze this holy abdominal system. Then your supraspinal fluid goes up like squeezing a jail pass from the bottom of a tube. So now important, the explanation of the breath. And when you now couple the compression of your intrinsic muscles with your breath, but instead of a normal breath, one long, slow, steady breath, and you put your attention on your perineum. Where you place your attention is where you're placing your energy. So you put your attention on your perineum first, and now as you inhale, as you could lift up the muscles of your perineum, and you're pulling that energy out of that first center with your breath, then follow into your lower abdomen. You pull your belly button to the core, to the spine as 1, 2, and you follow it to your core and lock your core down, 1, 2, 3, up into your chest. You bring your chest up as much as you can. Bring your shoulders down, lock your pecs, lock your lats, lock your entire torso. As 1, 2, 3, 4. And squeeze all muscles. Straighten your spine through your throat and pull that all up right to your brain. The target is your pineal gland. Some further information Now the molecules, that ions that are in the supraspinal fluid that are charged, and you accelerate it like a vortex or a spiral, it creates an external field called an inductance field that moves right into the direction of those charged molecules. And the result is energy is ascending, it's going up. You can't see it, but it's an energy that exists beyond your senses, yeah? So if you accelerate all those charged molecules, and if there are positive and negative charges, you will create an inductance field with two opposite moving vortex. So it's a lot of energy moving up. And if you start move up enough of those charged molecules, it could move the energy up through that field and deliver it right to the brain. And the sympathetic nervous system now switches on, and all that guilt, that anger, all that fear is turning into pure energy and moves right to the brain stem. And there is a gate called the thalamic gate. There is a big cluster of nerve cells where all the information crosses from the brain to this cluster. And this gate opens wide up. And now the energy moves right up into the brain, and that sympathetic response causes the brain to go into those gamma brain waves patterns, which have the fastest frequency with the highest amplitudes of energy. And when they reach the brain, it feels really amazing, really lovely. So it's like an orgasm in the brain. And that sympathetic action emerges with the parasympathetic nervous system, and it's releasing that energy straight up to the brain when the gate opens up, and all the stuff, all that guilt, all the fear and anger, victimization, all the suffering, all releases into pure energy. And now the energy hits the brain, and when it hits the brain, you get a positive charge in the head and a negative charge in the tail. So you got an external, invisible electromagnetic field when you move energy. Yeah, you grow your energy. So there are two major and for me magical effects. First, you let your invisible energy field grow. You build up energy. And second, the energy, also the stuck emotions of survival, of stress, like guilt, fear, or anger, that are stored in the first three energy centers, will be released, but not delivered and given up to the body. So all the energy that is used for reproduction, to make a new life, creation, that's very big. All the energy to digest your food, all the energy to run and hide from a hunter, like a big dog, lion, maybe your ex. So our willpower, and instead of turning it into chemistry in the body and releasing it, the energy will be drained right up through the brain. The essence of pulling the emotions of survival out of the body, with pulling all that energy out of those first three energy centers, pulling all to the top, you create that invisible torsion field, and freeing yourself from the past, that energetical memories stuck in your body, and ascending, growing, and changing your energy. Thank you so much for mindful listening, your attention, and placing energy on your health. In the next podcast or video, I will explain more about the transformative effects that's caused from or in your pineal gland, and again the technique and sequences of this profound breath. Thank you so much.